Mic check. Is the audio adequate at all? Mic check. Mic check. Can anybody hear me? And if so, can I be heard adequately? This mic is making lots of blinking lights on me for some reason. So I can't tell if the sound is terrible, decent, or awful, or somewhere in between. All right, I'm just going to ignore that blinking light then, which is apparently blinking for no reason. Today, the title of this video is Safety in Blunders. Safety in Blunders. Which is to say that there's a lot of life lessons or whatever that one can glean from one's mistakes and the process thereof. Look, I mean, Taylor's so ESTP, I just can't seem to help myself. When he tells me to show us your boobs, I just find myself doing it. I'm a little bit flat-chested, I'm not going to lie. I'm an A cup. I've been embarrassed about it for years, but I've been hesitant to get enlargement surgery because I just want to get enlarged to an 8.5 cup. I screenshot it anyway. Well, sure, why not? Might as well take advantage of the opportunity. You didn't even offer me any New Orleans beads, and I was still willing to do it. That's how powerful the ESTP will comes through. It's just like, we'll turn anyone into a chick that goes, woo! So maybe that was a mistake on my part. But you know what? I'm going to learn from my blunders. That's the point, okay? I'm going to learn. Next time Taylor tells me to show him my boobs, I'm going to say, no, those aren't for you, Taylor, like that. And then I will have learned a valuable lesson. Hopefully Kimberly doesn't get too mad. It's probably okay, because I've shown my boobs to lots of people before. Let's see, probably tens of thousands. I've gone to the beach without a shirt on multiple occasions. I work in the yard sometimes, topless. Let them all hang out. Are you safe here, or will you ban me again for disagreeing with you? Sean Tiberius Mononoke, I never banned you at all. I think I put you on timeout or removed you or something. Number two, I certainly didn't do so for disagreeing with me. And I believe I established exactly why it was that I put you on timeout or removed you or whatever. And I'm sure the words I said were not, I'm doing this because you disagree with me. Well, it felt like you banned me when you kicked me out of the chat room. Well, you're here, aren't you? I didn't blacklist you or anything. So, don't you think ban is the wrong word? Mr. Sean Tiberius Mononoke. I mean, I don't want you to repeat it, whatever it was you said that got you banned, but I can guarantee you it wasn't, I disagree with you, host Eric. So, hi, sweethearts, says Kate Love. Hi, beautiful. How you doing? Feeling extra sensual today? Now I only have to watch what I say or else you'll ban me again. That doesn't have a chilling effect or anything. Well, okay. So, there's lots of things that a person could potentially say that would cause me to kick them out of here. Does that mean that all those people are somehow suffering from a chilling effect? Probably. I am trying to chill that kind of non-protected speech. It's not protected in multiple ways. First of all, I'm not the government, and this is not a public forum in which you have free speech rights. But I treat it as though you do in general anyway. That doesn't mean I don't have my own sense of not protected speech that maybe the Supreme Court would uphold as protected speech from a government action. That does not mean private citizens can't have boundaries regarding the kind of speech they want to encounter in their private spaces. So, I mean, Sean Tiberius Mononoke, to say that I don't favor free speech is to just be a moron. I mean, I'm here talking to you about your complaint, aren't I? I'm here listening to your critiques, reading them out loud. Now I only have to watch what I say, or else you'll ban me again. That doesn't have a chilling effect or anything. I mean, the thing is, when you're saying things that aren't incredibly moronic, then I not only don't ban you, I respond to what you say and I read it out loud. I'm as proactive a proponent of free expression as I can possibly be. But my own space is not somebody else's free expression zone, right? You can start your own channel and free express all the fuck you want. No, it's not limited speech for everybody else. You have the same free speech rights I do. You can start a channel and say whatever the fuck you want. You can start a channel on a platform that doesn't have any sort of constraints, I'm sure, if you wanted to. You can make your own platform. You can do any of those things. And in those forums, you can be as liberal or as conservative as you like, enforcing your own speech dictates. I mean, here I am responding to you on an ongoing basis in this live stream. You're putting complaints up here. You say, so it's fine speech for you. It's free speech for you, but limited speech for everyone else. I responded to that on point. You didn't seem to care. You haven't acknowledged that, oh shit, I have made a bunch of fucking ridiculous claims already. And Eric schooled me on them, and I should try to learn something. You haven't even budged an inch. You just keep attacking. And all your attacks are weak as fuck. So what do you want me to do? All I can do is do you the favor of the courtesy of showing you the respect of schooling the fuck out of you. That's all I can do. Oh, have a cookie, huh? I mean, look, I don't know where you think I'm being hypocritical. Nobody's perfect. I wouldn't expect myself to be perfect either, but you have not highlighted an actual hypocrisy yet. Until you do, I'm not going to accept the implication in your claim there that I'm hypocritical. YouTube algorithm don't favor independent creators as much. Okay. Eric, I'm trying to order my fairly large video game collection and struggling between getting everything and the absolute best ones or just wanting anything that at least is kind of good. I would say get the cheap ones first. They're easier to get. Sean Tiberius Mononoke thinks I'm perfect just the way I am. Well, thanks, Sean. I got some good news for you. You're right. I am perfect just the way I am. Kate Love says, I'm thinking of food again. I wish I had brownies or carbonara. Or, how about this? Brownie carbonara. Nintendo games are worth the most. It's like I'm making these weird self-imposed rules for absolutely everything that often conflict. It's stressful. Okay, well, I've got some advice for you, Brian Harrison. Stop making weird and self-imposed rules. Solution granted. Wisdom of the guru. That's what you get when you come around here. You get wisdom of the guru. What's up, dog? Asks.
What's up, Eric?
Roaz.
Your camera issues?
Yeah, asks Roazimos. He says, what's up, dog?
What that?
The answer is not much. Wisdom of the guru. Would I just use brownie batter instead of eggs with the spaghetti? I don't know how to make carbonara. So, I have no way to answer that question. I don't even really know what it is.
It's like fettuccine, but with bacon.
Huh. Okay, well, how do you mix brownies into that?
You don't.
I know what you do. Instead of grating Parmesan cheese at the end over the top of it, you get a brownie grater and you grate brownies on top of it. It's just a little bit of brownie. Thanks, says Ryan. Wow, that was mind-blowing. He says mind-flowing, but he corrected later. You're definitely an NI dominant. I'm a NI dominatrix, he says. I'm actually a double intuitive dominatrix. NI, double N, double N. I'm quadruple N. Female ENTP, the So named female HP, aka Brittany, says she made special brownies yesterday. They were special because she used German dark chocolate. I have a theory that your channel, or resembling an archive rather than a solid brand, could have something to do with FI Polar. Thoughts? I mean, yeah, I would suspect that's probably true. That as an HP, I probably have considerably more need for random variety than an ENFP, possibly. Although we both favor novelty as as sort of a implicit value. But I would suspect that ENFPs produce content on more of a variety of shit than probably any other types do. Not necessarily. I don't know about like Zero Entropy, for example. He's an ENFP who has a channel. I don't know what he's doing really. Sean Tiberius Mononoke says, Brittany, I want to congratulate you on winning the World Cup in soccer recently.
It's a good one.
A supernova. Hi, Sarah, with clappy hands. Sarah. Hello, supernova. I'm Sarah Kyalinian. How you doing? My name's Sarah Kyalinian. And I'm your new internet friend. Right now, I'm channeling myself through Eric. I'm in control of his body. My name's Sarah Kyalinian. I love me some fig rolls. Oh, yeah. You have any fig rolls? I'll come over to your house. I'll do anything for fig rolls. Sarah, I am dismayed that you're wanting this. Hey, cute one in the back, says Kate Love. She must be talking about my back, I guess. My back is also cute.
Yeah, Eric's upper back is pretty adorable.
Yeah. That's Spacey back there, actually.
Hello.
Yeah. He's an INTP. We keep him around to do the heavy thinking. If Elon Musk is Space X and Space Y is behind me, does that make me Space Z? That's the question that Moaz asked. No, it makes all space-related matter a subset of the TWFP umbrella. Show it to us, please. Show you what? What do you want to see? Oh, my upper back? Okay. Here you go. Ooh. To the motherfucking Lizzo.
Ooh. Ooh.
Ooh. You see that back? You see that sexy?
Shake that back.
I'm back in sexy back. My back is super, super sexy, yeah. Justin Timberlake sang that song about my back. In case you weren't aware of that, I'd like to share this sort of news. That's my back. Is my back hairy? No. My back is not hairy. I have no back hair. I'm fortunate in that regard. Now, I do get, and I have to pluck, I get hairs growing out of the tip of my nose, which is, not a good place to have hairs growing. Now, if I could grow enough of a nose beard that I could, braid it, that would be pretty weird and cool. No, I don't have any mold on me, actually. Brittany says, and space is theoretically connected directly to time, parallel with energy and matter, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
No mold on me, no mold, no mold, no mold on me. Nope, I have that wrong. Space is connected to matter and parallel with energy and time. Okay, that makes a little more sense. I am so buff. Introverted thinker's right. Susie is admiring my muscular back, my muscular shoulders, my big biceps. I don't know if you've seen this. Watch out, ladies. If you're driving, look aside because you might pass out. Oh yeah. Look at that. That's called musculature. I am so stacked with musculature, I could knock down a redwood tree with a single punch. Pow! Like that.
Yeah.
All skin and meat and muscle. Introvert thinker and muscle. Uh, holy guacamole is right, Kate Love. Holy guacamole. That's the best kind of guacamole. As opposed to the blasphemous kind. Blasphemous guacamole. You kind of remind me of Diogenes the Cynic. I don't know who Diogenes the Cynic is.
Diogenes?
Diogenes. I stand corrected. Who is Diogenes the Cynic?
Some Greek dude.
Was he cynical?
Apparently.
I ain't cynical. I'm full of good cheer. Optimistic. Well into late years. 1970s called They Want Their Biceps Back. They can't have them. I'm keeping them here in the 2019s. Do you like Jewish cuisine? I enjoy matzo ball soup and a Reuben sandwich with the pickle too. And some latkes with applesauce. That'll now just do, Jew. I'll have your food. It's delicious. Who lived in a hogshead? I never lived in a hogshead. Ryan, that's sad. Oh, don't have an eating disorder, Brian. That is sad. Now you're talking serious shit. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. You're gonna make me depressed. Did you Spacey move in with you? Yeah, Spacey moved in with us. Hey, Hero Lamb. I need someone who needs some protein shakes, apparently. Yeah, we should. Introvert Thinker points out that she and I should arrange play dates for Spacey and Abraham.
Yeah, you should.
Good, I'm glad, Ryan. I'm glad you're gaining weight. Just remember, the bigger the sweater, the bigger the better, the tighter the sweater, the more the boys will like us. Okay? That's why I'm still not satisfied with these A cups. Still working on them. Every day I say, try to push them out a little bit more. Yeah. What are your thoughts on gaslighting? Well, I have a lot of thoughts on gaslighting, actually. I think Becky had probably the best definition of it that I've ever heard, which is when your partner is genuinely hurt by something and you tell them that they're the problem. So, if you hurt your partner's feelings and you go, you're being too sensitive, that's a form of gaslighting. And it's most sort of basic, easy to understand way, that's what gaslighting is. But more concretely or more specifically or more denotatively correct, it's the process of convincing somebody else there's something wrong with them through deception or other disreputable means. It's the girls you don't get. Girls don't get girls. Nobody gets girls, dude. Girls are weird. You're never going to get them. Don't try to get them.
Those don't make any sense.
You don't try to get them, just try to get on them. You'll be happier if you do it that way. And when you get on a special girl who you want to keep getting on for a long time, then you'll say, I guess I'm in a relationship now. That's how shit happens. Okay, Angantier. Yeah, I see it. Yeah, it's something I'd not really been subject to before I got with Kimberly, where she attempted to do it sort of a bit out of habit because it had been done to her so much in her life. And I was sort of shocked by it, like, what the fuck is this? Shocked and also not really getting that it was as serious as it was, Just sort of thinking, well, because FI polar, right? Somebody's being unacceptably mean to you, you've got to put a stop to it. But if it takes you a while to realize that she's being unacceptably mean to you, then there's a decent chance you're FI polar. I think Brittany has pretty good explanation over here, actually. It is abrasive labeling rather than making gracious attempts at difficult communication, not explaining the logic, rather creating a potentially combustible umbrella of expression. Right. Well, in other words, ontological critique instead of behavioral critique. I don't. Every partner needs to be able to critique their partner some of the time about behaviors that they don't like, or express to them in some fashion they don't like it and like something to change or whatever. There needs to be some channel of diplomacy between two people. One of the things, the way I experienced gaslighting was a persistent taking away of my channels of diplomacy, trying to use basically rhetorical tricks to prevent me from being adequately heard, and or just rank stubbornness and refusing to respond and stuff like that. So it took a long time, but finally, I think what it required was Kimberly to have the experience of successfully negotiating with me and seeing that it works. They calmed me right down and we're fine. And so now she engages with me. The channel of diplomacy that was taken away was basically working in dialectic instead of adversarial rhetoric. When two partners are working in dialectic, both are actually trying to find things to agree with the other person on and concede things, and be vulnerable and actively engage in a willful and team serving exchange of power. So both parties demonstrate their willingness to give power to the other as a way of showing their overall prioritization of the team. And this is something that I was raised doing all the time in every conflict, and so I expect life to provide me that, It's fair to say that she was the only person who was both guilty of refusing to engage in dialectic with me and also the only person who stuck around in my life very long, who does that. That's for sure. It's like if somebody does that, if somebody won't engage in dialectic with me, honest, vulnerable, back and forth negotiations, then they don't stay around me very long, typically. But Kimberly is special, and I'm meant to be with her, and the slabs are pretty clear about that. Additionally, she's my dual, so despite having these bad elements to the relationship that persisted for a long time, the symptoms of those bad elements got less bad over time as I treated the symptoms some. And eventually we got, oh, I forgot. The reason why you're having so much internet connectivity issues is that I got it behind this big metal thing. I forgot about that. I can't do that. So let me put it like over here. Knocking shit over is my favorite thing to do. Knocking shit over is a way to make love to you. Knocking shit over, knocking shit over, knocking shit over. Knocking shit over is a whole lot of fun. All right, is the internet better now? Can you still hear me? This is my new laptop. Any appetite to play the song on the guitar? I don't think I have a guitar in here. It's at the house. Yeah, I have the other camera I can plug in, which is the plug-in camera, but I don't have it plugged in at the moment. The reason I always had the plug-in camera plugged in on the old laptop is that it just, I don't know, it's complicated. Yeah, you can see how much of a mess it is back here. This isn't a very good FE. I guess maybe if I put it up or something higher, it'd be better a little bit. There, that's better. The camera and sound is worse than before. The audio is more important than the camera. Is that better without the incredibly loud fan noise? I bet that's better. People are very sensitive to it and also desensitized. I'd say INTPs are desensitized to critique perceived just as well. Much better without the fan. The audio sounds distant. Oh, I see. Because the audio is still over here. Can you hear it now? Okay, or no? Does it make a difference if I do that? Now is the audio better? It's like I'm already paranoid I'm doing things wrong or about my intentions being misunderstood. So pouring gas on me really throws me off. Oh, well, I don't know. I don't know what your situation is, Brian Harrison. I would just say that in general, neuroticism, which is sounds like whatever you got going on is some form of neuroticism, that you just gotta do something instead of fixating on what it is you're being neurotic about. You might even do something totally unrelated, but doing something is the solution, and continuing to be neurotic is not the solution. Aaron Tier says, I'm emotionally distant. Am I a Hello Kitty fan? No, not particularly. I'm more of a Choco Cat fan. And Gintir's emotionally distant. How far away are you emotionally? Is it more than 10 miles? I imagine most of the audience here has over 50% neurotic focus. You mean an ocean? That most incredible and reliable of personality profiling?
Neuroticism in an ocean of neuroticism.
Yeah. You know what I'm neurotic about right now? I've lost the weed and I cannot find it.
Where did you put it, Eric?
I don't know. I think I had it in my pocket when we were about to go to my parents. This might be weed in that little bottle right there. I don't know if it is or not.
No. You put it in your pocket?
There's another little bottle back here. It hides little bits of weed. They're both old hiding spots. I put it in my pocket before we were going to go, but then I must have taken it out of my pocket and set it down somewhere, and I have no idea where. Okay, so finish the Kepke stuff. No, I do still have some Kepke weed, and I've got some concentrate.
No, we can make do with that.
Yeah, we can. Sounds like a flea that has a flea. Well, does a flea that has a flea sound different than a flea that doesn't have a flea?
I gotta say that last stuff you got is really good.
That Sour Punch Diesel? Yeah, it's pretty fresh and juicy. Shit. That's what's MIA at the moment. I would walk 5,000 miles in order to take... You would
walk 500 more.
Would I? I don't know. Probably not. In order to do what? In order to get that first fresh hit of crack in the morning? Maybe.
Fresh hit of crack.
When you blow out that first fresh hit of crack in the morning, it's just like mountain sunshine on your soul. I picture a reality in which there are commercials on TV for crack, where like some sort of ultra-libertarian hellscape where, all that matters is the commercial viability of something. And
oh, dude, that sounds amazing.
And so it's like there's all these commercials on like morning cartoons for preschoolers that try to get them hooked on the idea of crack right away. Like you're never too young for crack. Don't listen to mom and dad. You're never too young for crack.
Tweetco only sells the highest quality crack for your child.
Look, if your child's already addicted to crack, switch over to health crack.
Organic crack. Farmed according to...
Introverted Thinker says, lol, considered writing what Spacey said. What did Spacey say?
What did I say?
Something profound, I guess. Where do you think your viewers would land on a dark triad test? What's the dark triad? Is it...
I don't remember.
Narcissism, sociopathy, and... what?
And my dick.
Am I saying that neuroticism is the reason for global warming? Yes. Antisocial shit equals dark triad. So it's narcissistic, sociopathic, antisocial. Well, I would guess. I mean, isn't narcissism just a form of sociopathy, really?
No.
It isn't?
No.
Why not?
Because they still have they have that fundamental dependence on the social sphere.
Okay.
They're like social parasites, so they inherently can't be antisocial. Is kind of what I'm saying.
Loresmos points out that his farts are more antisocial than the dark triad, which is a pretty good point. Antisocial personality disorder umbrella term. Virtuous? The Virtuian man? I'm only 13% narcissistic and Machiavellian. I am 0% in favor of that test.
Me too.
It depends a lot on what portion of my life you're
Something in the
talking
test
about.
for edgelords who want to find out how edgy they are.
Right. Edgelords. I'm so edgy. I'm 49%
No, dude,
antisocial.
I'm like 50% narcissistic. I'm like a total dick.
You seem it. Yeah. I like you. I like you too. I realize I'm way more narcissistic than I ever thought I was. It's concerning. Well, just because you take that test and tells you you're 31% narcissistic or something, or 31% Machiavellian, Zaylen Black. What does that mean?
Those tests are designed to make money for shrinks.
Yeah, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
Am I any percent Machiavellian?
I think you're probably pretty Machiavellian.
Am I?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
Or at
to be
least you'd come up
Machiavellian?
with it on that test.
Well, what does it mean though? That's what I want to know.
It just means you're like manipulative.
I'm manipulative.
If you want to put it in one
I'm
word.
manipulating you. Just the other day, you wanted to go to the zoo, but I said, let's go someplace else instead. You said, okay. Like that?
Yeah.
Just like that.
Just like that.
That's how you be Machiavellian.
Good job.
I finally learned the ways of psychology. Okay, all social interaction is manipulation. Nuh-uh. 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 Just because people are influenced
guy's
and
one-
manipulated.
This guy's putting the goalposts impossibly wide, using the most
Yeah.
broadest definition of manipulation conceivable.
Yeah. Just because you manipulate something doesn't mean you're guilty of manipulation. Yes, it does.
God, just because you manipulate things doesn't mean
You're manipulative.
cool.
It doesn't mean you're manipulative.
It doesn't make you a cool person.
I mean, sure, I use like tricks and stuff to make people do things they otherwise wouldn't. But that doesn't mean I'm manipulative. Yes, it does. Narcissists are okay with walking over others just like that. Well, I generally don't do that. I don't think. Narcissism is characterized by grandiosity, pride, egotism, and a lack of empathy. I mean, you can make the case that I was grandiose, prideful, and egotistical. I don't understand the difference between pride and egotism exactly. I don't think you make the case that I had a lack of empathy. Machiavellianism is characterized by manipulation and exploitation of others, an absence of morality, and a higher level of self-interest. Psychopathy is characterized by continuous antisocial behavior, impulsivity, selfishness, callousness, and remorselessness.
Why would you ever have any remorse?
Because you did something bad. You feel guilty.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm a lazy cunt, says Angantier.
Well, good. A lazy cunt is a good thing to be.
That's his first name. His
Oh.
name is Lazy Cunt.
Johnson?
Lazy Cunt Johnson. Well, why your parents named you a lazy cunt, I don't know. It's not spelled like you think. It's with a K and 2 O's.
Oh, an LMNOP.
Someone who is just stuck up, you can still feel bad about walking over others. Yeah. Well, I appreciate your Wikipedia quotes here, actually, Brittany. Those are helpful. Well, I certainly don't think I'm antisocial. Although you could say I have impulsivity. Manipulative has evil connotation, though manipulation has also been subtle, deployed for good reasons. That's true. Someone who is just remember, this is looking at the malevolent aspect of this triad, not the benevolent. What's the benevolent aspect of the triad?
Yeah, it's the dark triad.
Yeah, how does the dark triad have white parts? Then it would be the spotted triad.
Yeah.
Triad lighting is critically important to me. Please don't joke around about it.
It's important.
So I was at the doctor's the other day, and these goth guys and gals were mad about those posters with animals with the smokes in their mouth, calling it discrimination in that voice you were making. Well, hopefully they were adequately indignant. It's important to be indignant all the time about something. Is this coffee from this morning?
Yeah, probably.
Possibly.
Possibly.
Looks good enough to drink to me.
Possibly. I don't think.
There's good parts to everything. No one would strive for anything if there was no sort of balance. Well, I know, but the dark triad means 3 specific kinds of ways in which people manifest the parts of the human experience that aren't good. It's making the distinction between those parts that are not good and those parts that are good. So, sure, somebody who's highly Machiavellian and highly narcissistic would also have some good traits, but that doesn't mean that narcissism or Machiavellianism are themselves considered good in any sense. To the extent that they are good, they're not called that anymore. Yeah. So it's just a classification thing, There's nothing good about the dark triad, pit of endless evil. Nothing good about the mark triad.
Something good about my dark triad.
Am I a massive Bernie Sanders fan? No.
Bernie's gonna change the world, bro.
Bernie has poor TI. Bernie has no business in public affairs. I like to work in peace, sometimes with music. I'm self-absorbed and focus more on abstractions. Well, then maybe you should stop watching so much YouTube. That's distracting, bro. That's why you're not getting anything done. You're watching too much YouTube. Machiavellian synonyms: cunning, expedient, opportunist, artful, astute, calculating, conniving, contriving, crafty, deceitful, devious, plotting, shrewd. Is that really random, or is it all part of my plot?
It's completely randomized.
Wisdom of the guru, into your wisdom of the guru. Eric, would you ever want to go hit chest with me? What does that mean? Hit chest. I don't know what that means. Well, TI Polar is frustrating. Chest workout? You mean like lift weights? One time just to make a video about it because it'd be ridiculous. Yes, I would like to do that. On a regular basis, no. One time, yeah. That'd be funny. I'd be down to do that.
Man, I need to get to the gym again.
Hit chest is guru talk for popping chakras. It does sound pretty gay here when I'm hitting chest. That's one of the reasons why. One time it's not actually gay. I am totally interested in doing it. I wish it were called like Twiddling Twinks or something.
Twiddling Twinks.
That'd be the gayest possible name for that. You know, lifting weights to boost up your chest. It's called hitting chests. Well, if you were to make the name of it a little bit more gay, it would be called Twiddling Twinks.
Yeah.
Want to go twiddle some twinks with me? Yeah, bro.
I love Twinks, bro.
I'm always looking to get more cut. What polar do you have the hardest time dealing with? Which types of polar do I find most frustrating? TI polar, for sure. There's gonna be the most conflicts because we're engaging in mostly talks in the public world about public things, probably, instead of personal relationships. But they're using their tool function, which is inappropriate for talks about the public world and public things in those talks. Whereas in contrast, TI tool users, they don't want to talk about relationships at all. And maybe their own relationship, you know, but they don't want to sit around and chat about, well, Josie, I don't know if she's right for Bob. They don't want to talk about that kind of shit, which is really FI stuff, you know? Yeah, I think those New Age ENFP girls are cute. They can be, for sure. Another nice thing about them is they're not necessarily difficult, shall we say?
Some of them are like Chloe.
She's ESFP. But yeah, they're not extraordinarily difficult women. So, but you don't really want to be in a relationship with them, probably. It's a lot of extroversion. You really have to be down for some listening. FE Tool would talk about relationships in a different, broader way than FE Tool talks about. I don't know. It's like it talks about these people being good for each other and not good for each other a little bit. You know, Kimberly doesn't really talk about relationships like that per se. She more tells stories. Which penis function do you use the most? NI truth penis or NE splatters? I'm double intuitive, I guess, in that capacity. Double intuitive, double blast, quadruple
Double
play.
truth penis.
Yeah. Enough time for Chloe to re-implement herself in the rooms. Oh, well, hopefully she hasn't. If she has, burn her to the ground. Let's see here. Oh, she has, huh? Well, try to burn her to the ground if possible. Refuses to go away. She's the quintessential dropping out ashes on the Buddha question, right? There's that famous Zen koan that they're asking acolytes, I guess you'd call them. So what do you do if somebody comes in and keeps ashing their cigarette on the Buddha, the statue of the Buddha? And other than that, they're not doing anything or causing any problems. What are you going to do? Basically, how do you get them to stop being awful and or go away or stop fucking with your shit while maintaining these principles of do-nothingness of Buddhism? So I don't really have those principles of do-nothingness, but here we have this individual who's just fucking up the Buddha and difficult to deal with because despite the fact that she's sort of persona non grata criminal in my mind for destroying the Raw Room channel with her copyright infringement shit and other nonsense, she still wants to come around and like hang out and shit. So it's like, what do you do about that? I don't even know. Don't people know how to enjoy their thoughts? I don't particularly know how to enjoy my own thoughts. I normally feel the need to extrovert them in order to feel they're satisfactorily been expressed. So are you joking about being double intuitive, or do you think your NI is getting legitimately pretty strong? Oh, I do think my NI is pretty strong legitimately, but it's strong within nodes, and it lacks the capacity to frame up and down. So in other words, oh, that's me bouncing my knees up and down. Remember, I'm going like this. Yeah. Or this one. Or both of them sometime. The double knee. See, I'm not masturbating. Unless I'm doing it without my hands somehow. Could be spacey, I guess. I know people hate feelings. I don't hate feelings. I do hate blind function bias. In people who understand cognitive functions and have studied this stuff a little bit and get the fact that people have different ways of legitimizing shit and start to understand that other ways of legitimizing shit are not inherently wrong, and can have a little bit of a conversation about that, then fine. It's like, I understand that. But when it also has to do with genuineness of dialectic. It's the same thing I keep coming back to with my own shit. If the F5 person is being genuine in their engagement with you, in other words, they're being non-adversarial and they're being open to making progress, then it's fine. And same thing with the TI person. Just because somebody's a TI person doesn't mean that they're going to necessarily be self-objective, as I've learned of late. Not all TI users are capable of objective self-criticism or are willing to do it in front of other people, which is what's really required to experience growth, I think, is to sacrifice some of your pride, basically. A sacrifice of pride is necessary for growth. Hi, Eric. Question. Could an ESTP fish actually make it up a tree? ESTP determination is fierce. Maybe there were hot chick fish at the top of it. How Kimberly make her a scarlet letter? Who? Well, yeah, I knew that sound right away. I do the same thing. The knee bouncing. I hate thinking and feeling. Well, Kimberly is kind of like that in a way. She's a knower. She wants to know from experience more than anything else. And then secondarily, she wants to interface with social dynamics within a dynamic social system that's also sort of limited in time scale to an SI time scale. So that's about as close to being against thinking and feeling as you can get. And it's caused us a lot of problems. When I say listen, what I'm actually saying to her is deliberate. Stop knowing and interfacing. Deliberate. That's basically the gist of our conflict. Is she hasn't been willing to make forays into speaking my language. I've been making forays into speaking her language, but now she understands things better. And I don't know. Well, like I said, when she experienced it, she was certainly willing and interested in trying to fix our communication difficulties, and she just needed to experience the success of it working in order to encourage her to continue doing that. Doing, being, peeing. Those are the three states of human experience. I think I'm getting confused between NI and TI in my own thinking. TI is the thing that checks for consistency against a metric, namely the past, what's been said before, or against what you know about facts in the world or whatever, just consistency against something. Whereas NI collapses things down into singularities. Ryan Harrison, are you INFJ? If you're an INFJ, does TI just supplement your NI? If you're an INFJ, you know first the synergistic whole of a thing, that this is on balance as a whole, all the parts work together to accomplish, yeah. Okay. Now, whether or not that's TI true depends on if you can parse it all the way down, if it's reducible or not. Some things are reducible, some things aren't. For reducible things, your NI and your TI will work in coordination to check to see if they are true or not. Your NI may tell you something is reducibly true, namely that is you can deduce all the components from it, that it's an argument in some sense, it's subject to TI scrutiny. And then your TI can check it and find out. And then FE is all about presenting the truth and how it's going to play as a tool to get other people perceiving you in certain ways. Now, on the other hand, if it's an NI hole that doesn't reduce, well, that's where you're trying to attain, I guess, your actualization, so to speak, which is you're trying to find ways to live in truths that are either reducible to TI provability or irreducible in ways that you have a TI metaframe to deal with. That would give you a sense of TI validation. And you also, in general, want people to validate you for your intelligence and your competency with logical shit rather than for your FE stuff, because it's your instrumental tool function, so you don't really take any great satisfaction in and of itself. So what do INFPs do since they have weak TI? They don't have weak TI. They've got 8 slot TI, which isn't bad. And if you test them directly on it, they can be quite good at it. It's just what consistently happens with INFPs is there's this moment of, oh, I see, you're testing that sort of thing. Okay, I can do that. And then they'll do that, right? Whereas with INTPs, they're ahead of you as you're asking the question. They're already way ahead of you. Do you think there are correlations to be found between high FE and Big 5 agreeableness trait? Probably. If Big 5 accurately measures agreeableness, though, I would say that somebody like Kimberly is not a very agreeable person, and she has FE tool. So it's the correlation may be there. It may be more of a correlation with, say, secure attachment style plus FE, something like that. That would make more sense. I think attachment style has a lot to do with how agreeable someone is. Agreeableness has a lot to do with trustingness, right? If you're very trusting, then it's easy to be agreeable. Oh, I did make a video with you, Brian? I don't even remember. I'm sure it was fantastic, though. I don't want you to glean anything about the fact that I don't remember it. I don't remember much in life. Man, I'm INFP and I'm in 90% for agreeableness. It would seem to me that agreeableness links directly to trust. If you are a trusting person, then chances are you were raised in an environment that rewarded trusting behavior. In other words, that was worthy of trust. And if you are untrusting, then chances are you were raised in an environment that was not worthy of your trust. As a human being, you have an inherent way of knowing whether somebody's really in your interests or not. And when people are not acting in your interests and you can tell that they're being evil, it makes you untrusting of the world. If that's your childhood experience, you don't know what it's like to have mierimia. Gullible. I think SI is more of a burden. I value my weak SE more. Angantir, SI is not a burden. SI is home, ultimately. Your sense of self as an organic, particularist being. If you're an NTP, which I think you are of some sort, it is to be found in SI. And familiarity in the comforts of a nest and the comforts of a nest maker and caregiver type person, ISFJ, See, I think it's a swap. I swap between trust and distrust. Sometimes I shut people out that would be good and open the door to abusive people. Well, the thing is, trust happens when you afford it and you don't want to, really. Like, I know I can trust you, but I don't want to trust you right now because it's hard. This path you're asking me to walk is a form of trust that you need to willfully afford to somebody that you trust, but is going to ask you to do something difficult. You need to do that. But if, on the other hand, it's somebody who's trying to make it easier and easier for you to trust them, and you're still hesitant, then trust your hesitation, I used to be unconscious of the TI check, but I feel like I can pick up on it a lot more recently. And when debating, I can see when I've just used a quick TI check, but no, it's weak and unchecked. I try to shower daily because it's very humid where I live and I sweat a lot. Well, thanks, Supernova. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to share with you some of your SI experiencing. Angantir had a shitty past as well. I don't know what that's like. I do know that for an SI person, the higher up the SI is, the more they're going to carry that with them in their understanding of the world. And that can cause them problems for decades, However, I would also say that it's possible to get past that. It depends what kind of relationships you have in the status quo. If they're the kind of relationships that are interested in both modeling good relationship behavior and repairing bad, then you shouldn't have any problems. How much you yourself display bad relationship behavior is a difficult one to answer. I must have missed your question. Let's see. I must have, apparently. I don't remember seeing it. Let me scroll up. I'm going to use my mouse to scroll up. Do you see a correlation between higher SI and taking showers daily? NI users, I know, shower less, sometimes once a week. Thoughts? Higher SI means more showers, yes. But I think equally true, you're going to get a lot of showers from 5th slot and 8th slot SI, probably. So I would suspect that INFJs probably shower pretty regularly. I would suspect even INTJs shower reasonably regularly. Because
No.
I mean, I guess it depends if they need to to serve their NI purposes. For INFJs, they probably will because of the FE reasons. You know, it's instrumental in the 8th slot, but it's potentially fine. Like for me, I would shower infrequently if I was single, except when I had an FE reason to shower. Like I was going to go out and see somebody that I cared if I smelled bad or whatever. And Spacey probably would shower less frequently than he does if Kimberly didn't tell him to take a shower periodically. I don't know.
She doesn't tell me
she doesn't?
to.
She just gives you a towel. She just hands you a towel.
I mean, sometimes.
Okay. I mean, do you feel like you're showering more than you did in the past?
No, I've been showering like less than because normally when I have a real routine, I regularly shower at least once a day.
If you got to go to work,
Right?
Yeah, sure. Right. So there you go on that. If you're just sitting around all the time, you have a little bit more shower flexibility. But in summer around here, it's almost impossible not to shower. I can't stand going to bed sweaty and gross. Yeah. Do you think directly from SI as a result of extra functions? Your ideal is twice daily. I hate showering. I hate changing whatever I'm doing. Like if I'm watching TV, I don't want to stop and eat and shower. Yeah, I mean, depends if I'm uncomfortable. My belly button is kind of shaped like a crescent moon, but I've gotten more SI aware as I've gotten older. And also with Kimberly, I've gotten more. I guess I wasn't right before Kimberly, so it's hard to say it's from being older. It's mostly just Kimberly, I guess. I shower a lot. I forget other self-care things when I'm depressed, though. My other self-care are hit and miss. Some people have to shower to wake up, like me, says Hero Lamb. That must be difficult because their bed gets soaked every morning before they wake up. There are good moments. There are good moments, but a lot I wouldn't care to forget. So are you feeling INTP style nihilism? Because Spacey can probably identify with that. He expresses a lot of that sometimes too.
I can identify with that.
Good moments, but a sort of a dissatisfaction of being an INTP. I have to mock myself. What are you doing that's so important? Curing cancer? No, get off your butt and shower. Does it help? Does it help to shame yourself in that fashion? Zaylen Black? Does that get you to actually do shit? Says, I shower for FE reasons for sure. I don't feel compelled by internal reasons to bathe or eat. Big 5 measures agreeableness or on politeness and compassion because research shows politeness is related to the neural pathways that deal with governing aggression, law, and compassion with those regulating social bonding and affiliation. What up, Eric? Not much. Joey Joe Shabadoo. Not much. Joey Joe Shabadoo. Jordan Peterson said showering and cleaning would save my life. Well, first of all, sport, you need to clean your room. I don't shower much these days because I don't have much clothes and don't like going out. Good reasoning. Can you type the Thundercats one day, please? The Thundercats. that would require me watching some Thundercats. It's a show I haven't really watched. I could probably type the Scooby Doo guys. Probably pretty easy to type. Like, you know, Scooby. Well, let's get Scooby last. Fred's ESFJ, I think. You know, pretty pleasant. Daphne, ENFP. Velma, I guess INTP. Um, and then Shaggy, I guess, is an ISFJ. And Scooby is, I don't know what Scooby is. Hard to say. How is it a hassle to take a 10-minute shower? Oh, that's a hassle. That is a hassle. So, most hassle-filled 10 minutes of my life. I have to stand up the whole time. Well, you should take a bath. Scooby and Shaggy are high all the time. High on Scooby snacks. What a ham. Isn't that ESFP in a nutshell? I don't know. Scooby may be NI-polar. ESFJ may make sense for Scoobs. There's certainly a plausible explanation. I want to know why Fred is so, like, calm and... Come on, guys. Working together, we know we can do it. He's like Cartman when Cartman's faking like that, you know? Yeah, that's... The cute, nerdy one is Thelma. Yeah. No, I think it's Thelma, isn't it? Or is it Velma? Velma. Okay. And then the other chick's name is what? Daphne. Daphne and Velma.
Velma.
Yeah, everybody would rather fuck Velma than Daphne. Nobody wants Daphne. You know, just like nobody wants Ginger. Everyone wants Marianne. If you can fuck either Marianne or Ginger, who do you get on? Well, obviously Marianne. If you can hump Velma or Daphne, who do you get on? Velma, obviously. Get that sweater off of her. See what's underneath that. She's always wearing a sweater. You know what that means? She got big old titties. She's trying to hide them. Asuka? Who's Asuka? Yeah, Velma's got loafiness. Thank you, Joey Jojo Shabadoo. Joey Jojo Shabadoo, she understands the reality here. There's some loaf underneath that sweater, let me tell you. The loaf of womanhood. Can you answer my effing INTP question when you get a chance, Eric? It's pretty relevant to an old friend right now. I feel is avoiding me, but I suspect a deeper reason. Dun, 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 dun. Is it because he's inside a were squirrel? Let's see what your question is. Going back up here. What type is Optima Prime? That's your question? I don't know. What type is... Can you answer my INTP question? Well, what is your INTP question? You have to put it again. I don't see it anywhere. How long ago did you answer it? A million years ago? That's a long time. I'm not going to be able to find it. There's nothing you can do if a friend is avoiding you. Yeah, you can. You can ambush them. Jump out of the bushes with a big bouquet of roses and say, "Here, friend!" Like that. That'll win them over for sure. Everybody likes that. As they're running away, you can say, "Wait, I've written a poem for you." I think it depends how much attention you pay to the SI frame of knowing. How much are you referencing constantly the previous causal links between shit you did and how you felt? Oh shit, introverted thinker. That reminds me. When the melatonin in my system is thick and needs to be somehow facilitated and it's clearing out, I think I'll smoke a cigarette. You go over to the gym and go like this. Bro. Brohan. Bro. Hey, bro. Bro. Bring it in, bro. It's okay. Let it all out. I don't think you're a pussy just because you're crying. Like that. That's how you do it. Don't love tobacco. It's not good. Costs a lot of money. Like some wood that you buy from the lumber store. You won't enjoy having it anymore. How have you changed over your life? Says awkward INFP. She's curious how I would answer it and you answer it. Spacey, how would you answer it? How have you changed over your life?
I've gotten a lot more apathetic. Like I don't care like what other people think as much. You know, I just I've gotten a lot more relaxed.
Apathy, check.
Yeah.
Relaxation,
Also,
check.
Yeah, I don't know, just easier around people. Like if you saw me when I was a teenager, I was like a complete like autistic, crazy retard compared to how I am now. So
Ease of social interaction, check. 3 ways he's changed over time, provided by Spacey in answer to your question.
Occasionally impressed with my FE skills.
Successful occasions of FE, check. Give me concrete examples there using the SI. Well, not really concrete. Giving you general examples. Pseudo-concrete.
Well, you know, you start to learn little things like if I flex my vocabulary in front of people all the time while I'm speaking, then it gives off the impression that I'm kind of arrogant and like lording my intellectual superiority over other people. So I dumb down my speech a little bit most of the time and kind of try to talk about things in layman's terms so that, you know, I can blend in better. I start to do things like that where I just seem more like an average person that you can relate to.
Fortunately, the adverse correlation to vernacular does not apply to me. Everybody says, ooh, we like that when you do it. And nobody thinks, that guy's just a pedantic fuck. Oh, wait. Probably a lot of people do think that. It's my curse, my cross to bear, and it's my curse to wear. I feel that don't dumb yourself down too much. Keep your quirks.
Oh, I keep some of them. At least around other people who are weird.
Erasmus remembered me on National Pedantic Fuck Day. I like your bluntness, Eric. Lol, I don't know why. It's pretty authentic, though. Thank you. As my authenticity coach and INFP supervisor, I'll take your word for it. My INTP friend sometimes falls off the face of the earth, but then comes back weeks to months later, and we just pick up where we left off. Well, INTPs, ENTPs, they probably both expect relationships to stay put in the absence of any new action being taken upon them. In other words, both types are likely to underestimate the maintenance cost, and it depends who they're dealing with as to whether the other party thinks there's a maintenance cost or not. You know, like Kimberly believes there's a maintenance cost. If she hasn't talked to somebody in a certain amount of time, she determined that they're no longer friends, basically. Can first slot FE be overbearing to second slot FE? I think third slot FE and ENTP sounds cute. Well, thanks, Ingentier. Can first slot FE be overbearing to second slot? Yeah, for sure. You know, Kimberly will periodically say too much FE about people that she encounters out in the world, and it's probably usually ENFJs, but Tom Jickelson says, I hate when people think that being intelligent makes them better than other people. You know, I don't really think that's a common belief. Might happen occasionally.
Yeah, I don't think it is that common.
Is there a type who falls off the planet but also never returns and doesn't feel lonely ever? No. Everybody needs social engagement. Introverts need an extrovert to facilitate their social engagement. And extroverts need introverts to bring them down to earth. Does Kim like ENFJs? Kim, she's got mixed feelings about ENFJs. Her sort of son, which is her best friend Holly's son, her ex best friend Holly's son. She had a falling out with her best friend of many years. Around the same time, I had a falling out with my best friend of many years, and we, independently of each other, sort of broke up with our best friends around the same time. Anyway, that woman's son is an ENFJ. Now, she feels a lot of fondness for him, but feels sort of an exacerbation as well. Like, what in the world? Because, of course, she's, I guess, their supervisor type. She's got their polars are dominant, and she's got their dominant as her tool. Yeah. So that's how she feels about them. She judges them a lot. I don't know any extroverts anymore. Maybe that's why my social circle feels weird right now. Well, Ryan Harrison, you should come hang out in the raw room. And a lot of times there aren't people there. Sometimes there are. And when there are, people who are introverted in that capacity, I think there's a lot of people who get a lot out of that room, actually.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't have a bot in it recording, like I thought that was the only thing that made it of any value. But to other people, it's valuable because of the socialization aspect. It used to be valuable to me for that reason as well. Just I enjoyed having a place where I could socialize anytime. But nowadays, basically, since I got in my relationship, I don't spend a lot of time socializing in groups anymore. How do ESFP supervise anybody, lol? They supervise who? INTPs?
Who?
ESFPs?
I guess they'd supervise ISTPs, right? Or is that...
No, that's
No.
Let's see. It would be SE Polar and FI Tool. Who's SE Polar and FI? No, nobody's SE Polar. No, SE Polar and
it would be INFPs. Yeah.
And FI Dom.
Yeah,
INFPs. Yeah, they supervise INFPs. How do they supervise them? They prevent them from being. They make them take action, basically. Awkward INFP, you are clearly an extrovert, by the way.
Really?
Tom Jickelson says.
Wow.
I had not thought about it before, Tom Jickelson. But it's difficult to tell what anybody is based on their chat or video stuff. You gotta kind of talk to them. It's hard to know. He didn't look up at the introverted thinker. I know. He just slow sometimes. What am I supposed to be doing? Is that me you're talking about or somebody else? Whoa! Don't fall over on my face. INFP. Oh, yeah. That's the answer. Sizzy was giving me the answer. Well, hello, Ahmed Sam. It is not relevant. Oh, it was relevant at the time, though. It was very relevant. It's no longer relevant. That's true. I rendered it irrelevant by seeing it too late. It's all my fault. Everybody hate me. I always admired Scooby-Doo because of his courage to talk shit. But after discovering your channel, I now think he didn't struggle with social perception because they didn't occur to him. Thanks, John Henry. Thanks for making me part of that linear time narrative. I appreciate it. And don't assume any causal relationship, as one might mistakenly do. I did not do that, you'll know. You almost got the name right. Nice. Cool. I don't really usually try very hard to do that, by the way. So it's not just you I don't try to get the name right about. Because I can see you have decent FE that an INFP would not use. Who? INFP? Awkward INFP? Awkward INFP. INFPs have better FE than ENFPs. Eric, what do you think is the least talked about type, and do you know why? Probably,
Oh, thank you.
I would say in general, it would probably be ISFP or ESTJ is probably the least talked about type. ESTJ and ISFP. Probably the most talked about types are INFPs, INFJs, and Mias. I don't know if you've met any Mias, but they're talked about all the time.
My client typed as an ESTJ.
Your client typed as an ESTJ? Which one?
The one yesterday.
What's her name? Blueface? Jackie. Eric, watch my video from today about C.S. Joseph. Ooh, I'm excited to see it.
Who's that?
That's Taylor. I'm excited to see about your video. I see yes, Joseph. And Jojo Shabadoo says Kimberly ! With a heart.
Oh, Joey Shabadoo.
Hi Kim. Tell Kim the glasses are awesome, by the way. Saw them in the Introverted Thinker video. She likes your glasses, Kimberly, in the Introverted Thinker video.
What video is that?
Do you need a cigarette?
I don't know if we've even she's never seen that video.
Well, thank you. I'm blind.
Let's see. Learning from experience is usually associated with SI, right? But there's a lot of SE users that talk about how you can't know something until you experience it. I would suppose those are SE DOMs. SE DOMs are going to naturally be very SI friendly in that capacity because in the same way that NE DOMs are very NI friendly and vice versa. Introverted thinker looks like an INFP. I can assure you, in no uncertain terms, Susie is not an INFP. But you go for it. Intuitives are more likely to be interested in typology. True in general. Bah, have to go to the store. Later, taters. Goodbye, chicken pot pie. SI stifled me. Fun in the same way. Stifles me fun. Is that pirate talk? Susie's perfect regardless. That's only an INFP would say that. Susie's perfect regardless. What an INFP thing to say. No, Susie's only perfect as long as she continues to be a TI dom. But FP is so good. Why is NI generally associated with archetypal representation when any SI types are associated with making more archetypal narratives? That's a good question. Well, the thing is this. NE DOMs are going to generally have good access to NI archetypal links, and they're going to be able to do NI not without a whole lot of difficulty. Our fifth select function is the thing that we ignore because we think it's too obvious and easy to waste our time attending to. We're wrong about that. It's more nuanced than we think, and so our level of control of it becomes sort of unconscious. But it certainly is there, and it's something that ENFPs can learn to release more of, in the sense that you're always making an aesthetic decision. And if you're conscious of the fact that you're making an aesthetic decision between an NI choice and an NE choice, then you can successfully learn to make those NI choices instead. It doesn't mean you're attending by NI more frequently, really. It just means you've learned to be aware of what would otherwise be mostly unconscious attentional reality. Let's see. Are we more vulnerable in fourth slot or polar? Polar, for sure. Like, if the challenges that Kimberly and I have had to do with our respective polars. It had to do with her TE polar and my FI polar. And I think it's fair to say that if my challenges had instead been SI, in other words, she hadn't taken care of me at all with the SI shit, and the challenges had been instead NE, I hadn't taken care of her ideationally with the NE at all, then we'd probably have split a long time ago. Eric, where do you go to learn about typology? Any books or sites or channels that made a big difference? I mean, the thing is, I read shit from all over the place. I read shit that I found buried in some, random socionics thing that was all in Russian that I had to translate and try to piece together with the Google Translate of Russian. And then, I get shit from all over the place. And I don't really have anything in particular. Most of the shit I read, I dismiss at some point. Maybe I consider it. Like, the thing about being an EHP is as you encounter ideas, you just sort of hold them in a state of indeterminateness until they come together as something you want to affirm or negate or use. And until it gets used, it sort of stays in that state of superposition in your SI. So the NI could go more meta. Is meta a right description of the NE? No, I mean, NI can go more particularist. What NE does is the intuitive form of particularism, which is to say it takes archetypal things, it takes things from the sensory realm, takes things from your own experience, and combines them into unique new combinations of things. And so what NI does is recognize which of those combinations are good and bad, which of them are shitty. So, if I go, I've got a great new in Benchant. Well, this is the classic NE gone wrong joke in The Simpsons, when it's an NETI gone bad joke, where they say to Homer Simpson, because you're a white male 40-something, your opinion matters most of all. And that's why we've got this new product you suggested. And it was nuts and gum. Nuts and gum is a terrible idea, right? NI, it works great as a joke. It's a joke about an SI situation, right? Like, if you imagine, you have to be able to SI imagine putting nuts and gum in your mouth and trying to eat it, and you realize that would be horrible, right? Trying to chew gum that you're while concurrently eating nuts. But from an NI perspective as an idea, it's a terrible idea. So if I'm saying, if you're saying, hey, product development team, come up with combinations of things we can put together in a can that people can eat, come up with many different ideas as you can, and you might come up with that just because they think it's funny, and it does work as a joke. So that's what NE does. NI knows which is inherently better. And you might go, well, how's it inherently anything? Well, it is. It knows either how it's going to work with the dynamic particular systems of the world, or it knows how it's going to work with the dynamic social systems of the world, and it's correct more than it's not, because it's going to the obvious thing. Most people will associate this with meow. Like, if we... let's say you have a movie, right? This would be a classic example of horrible NI management. If you were to be like, okay, well, I'm writing this movie. So the main character, he's coming out of the bathroom at the start of the movie. To make him look a little bit more friendly, let's have him, as he emerges from the bathroom, rubbing the back of a small child, who then goes off in a different direction. Most people go, no, that's not a good way to make him seem more friendly. That's going to associate with something weird, right? So that would be an NI question. What does it actually mean? How's it going to actually be read? That's an NIFE thing, right? You're about to rename your channel Curious Bastard.
Furious Bastard.
I've got a better idea for you. Here's a little NI improvement. Bastard Fantastico.
Bastardo Fantastico.
Bastard Fantastico, I think, is a better name. Asker's tendency to dialogue. Much of what an asker says seems more question-like, even statements. Well, who's an asking type? What does that mean? I don't think FE would be naturally adept at comedy, at least live. It's not unthinkable they could do it fine. Mostly you're going to find NE DOMs is probably capable of improvisational style comedy, and even they are probably going to suck at it. Declare's tendency to monologue. Much of what Declare says seems more like statement like even questions. I rule out INFP and ENFP. So you say I would be then a declarer, correct?
That's what you want to see.
In the fashion I just did, asking a question as though it were a statement. Can you line up what types do what? More questions for you. Yeah, I'd be curious about that too. I've not heard that talked about before, really, or maybe I've heard it mentioned, but haven't really looked into it that much. Eric, are you a beard person? Yeah, I always try to have my beard. I've had it off briefly. I don't like the way I look with it off at all. I don't like the way I look with it
Kimberly's a
on
beard
particularly
person.
either. But the bigger the better, frankly. Most comedies are dumb, but not mine. Mine are about poo-poo.
Poo poo pee pee.
Do you like poo poo and pee pee, kitty?
That's how you know. My comedies are smart.
Do you like poo poo and pee pee comedies?
Have you seen White Chicks, though? No, I haven't. I mean, yes, I have. But not in the movie theater.
She just kissed you.
Out in the world, I've seen a lot of white
That
chicks.
was sweet. Was that your
But
baby
uncapitalized
kiss?
usually.
Kisses.
Wait, type Adam Sandler. ESTP, probably? Maybe ENTP?
He's probably an ESTP.
I think he's an ESTP, probably, though. If he's an ENTP, he's an ENTP who's copped an ESTP character as his self, basically.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think.
And it's very plausible.
It's kind of like Jack Nicholson.
It's kind of what an ENTP is going to naturally do with a third slot FE, is move towards
plotted
either,
his character.
if they're a 4, if they're like an Enneagram 4, they're going to move to some sort of defiant, like, individualist self. But if they're not Enneagram 4, they'll probably move towards ESTP because it meets more societal norms regarding masculine likability. So, you know, if you're an ENTP comedian who's keeping a close eye on the pulse of what you're doing and what works and what doesn't and what appeals to people most and being guided by that, as probably most ENTPs would be, it's very plausible that he could have sort of morphed into the person he currently is. Comedian Louis C.K. has typed INFP. I'd buy that.
I can see that.
I could buy that.
What about what's her name? The blonde girl that I like.
Blondie Pants?
She just had a baby. She's on
Blondie Pants baby have?
She's on Comedy Central. She's the blonde. How do you go?
Oh, that chick, who's a comedian chick, who's blonde, who's chubby, who's Kimberly likes, who's in those movies.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Who? What?
The chick, what's that
Amy.
chick's name?
Amy.
No, not Amy, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Who can help me know what that chick's name is?
The comedian?
Mm-hmm. She's blonde.
I'm monologathon on my channel, though.
I think I know who you're talking about.
I'm monologue from my head to my toe. Amy Schumer.
Amy Schumer.
I was right.
Yes, Amy Schumer.
She's not funny at all.
Okay, well, Kimberly likes her a lot. Kimberly likes a lot of things that maybe NTPs will raise their nose at. Like, I mean, that's too below me or something. What doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. She likes a lot of like funny animal videos, and when she shows them to me, I actually think
My
they're quite
favorite is
funny.
Laura Clary. Of her.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with that chick's name. What's her name again?
Laura Clary.
Laura Clary. She's some YouTuber that Kimberly thinks is funny, who makes these videos with like lens distortion of the face and stuff.
With
It's
her husband. It's very funny.
does she like Legally Blonde? Did you like the movie Legally Blonde? No, she didn't. I always thought I'd be neat. It would be neat to be an actor. Scared though to try. Well, don't be scared to try. Just go ahead and do it. Fuck it. Why not? What's the worst you can do? Is fail miserably. So what? The question would seem more statement like if you were declared. Well, I mean, I think I have a variety of ways I make statements and ask questions, and it depends on the context. Do you watch Schumer too, Eric? No, I haven't really watched much of her, but I've probably seen a couple of her things before.
Probably too much locker room talk for you.
Eric, would you say it is fine to say cognitive configuration is connected to fears or worries? Oh, I would say it's fair to say that cognitive the intentional configuration expresses through fears and worries a lot of times. So like there will be ways of expressing fearfulness that are unique to ENTPs possibly, or not, if not unique to, that correlate strongly with ENTPs, for example.
Yesterday. I lost it again.
What the fuck's a declarer? One who declares, like me. I declare, declares. Do you?
I declares.
If you like eclairs, you're a declarer. If you don't like eclairs, then you're not. If you like eclairs, you're a declarer. If not, then you're C.S. Joseph.
Just because you sing it doesn't mean you're right. Just because you sing it sometimes means you're committing a crime.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Model A dichotomies. Yeah. All right. Renin dichotomies. Everybody get your Renin dichotomies out. We're going to rub those up against your chode and see if the pH paper changes color. Okay, so whose chode tests positive for declarer? Anybody? If your pH paper turned pink, you are a declarer. Rub it against your chode right now. If you have had your chode surgically removed, just rub it against your genitals. So do you still not believe cognitive type isn't formed through experience? There are too many double negatives in that sentence to answer it, Mad Biscuit 23. You're going to have to get rid of a couple of the knots. Any possibilities? Did you watch Taylor's video on C.S. Joseph's income? Joseph tried to claim he makes no money basically, and Taylor took apart his entire income. That seems like a good reason to stop this live stream. I want to watch that video, and I additionally getting ready to stop this anyway. I needed to vent. I got on. I feel relaxed now because I got a chance to play Live Streamer, which is one of my favorite games. You think you've gotten better with your TIs? You've gotten older? Good. Glad to hear it. Okay. Goodbye, sweetheart, 'cause it's time to go. Bom, 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 bom. I'm going to push and stream now, so boom, 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 boom. Good night, sweetheart, 'cause it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart. Good no.